Good morning, good evening, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Barra, and we are here to talk about the best story of all time. Are you ready for it? One Piece! All right, chapter 1175. I hope all of you are having a great one. However, you're catching this, whenever you're catching this. Now, let's just rip off the band-aid, right? I was wrong, all right? The title of this chapter couldn't be anything else but exactly what I had argued so vehemently against last chapter. Needhog, right? And it is a cute little photo of Sabo with koala and a bunch of koalas around him. Now, a lot of people are theorizing that this could lead to Sabo and Koala kind of having a bit of a fling. I'll be honest, though, I think that's kind of like a duh. It's kind of a duh, right? I think if you look back to Sabo's near-death experience on Koala's time, being a prisoner of the Celestial Dragons, I mean, I even like going back to the semi-traumatic passing, right, of Fishman Tiger, right? Like, she wasn't really around for it, but I can imagine hearing that news really probably shook her, as she grew to understand the circumstances of what happened. This only furthers her fight for the Revolutionary Army, right? So I think Sabo and Koala are great matches for one another. I really want to get to the note, though. The note is what I'm interested about, right? Okay, let's slow down. All right. Yes, but it's just a cute little cover story that we get. Yes, but it's just a cute little reader's request that we get from Oda right here. And again, he's surrounded by koala bears. Very cute. The note is very interesting. We're going to be getting to that later. But I do want to run down exactly what a Needhog is, all right? Now, many of you know that it is the dragon, or the serpent-like dragon. If you ask Google, it will tell you that it's both kind of like a snake and a kind of dragon, which is why I went towards more of a wyvern. For those of you who know, wyvern is a kind of just type of dragon. It's not so much like a like wyvern is just a type of dragon. It's dragon lineage, draconic lineage. That's a whole nother can of worms right there. But basically, it seems that Loki and more or less Needhog, right, in the most honestly probably most statistical terms that we can find for these kind of things, right, in the D&D Forgotten Realms lore, right, like on the D&D Forgotten Realms webpage, right, there are different sizes for dragons, and it does seem that Loki kind of scales in at the ancient dragon. We could probably put somebody like Kaido at a mature adult kind of sized dragon. And again, this is all just kind of like D&D, what we're getting here, and that's just kind of the easiest playbook when you're like dealing with dragons. Surprise, surprise, right? But it would seem that we are looking at a ancient sized dragon. Loki is huge. He's he's insanely massive. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot about Loki's appearance this chapter that just showed why he is easily top 10. Maybe not all time, but right now it'll make a hard case to say anybody else. I don't see Kaido winning in a 1v1. I don't see it. All right, maybe if he locks arms with Big Mom, gets a couple of Haku sovereignties off, but even with that, that's gonna take a lot of work. All right, that's gonna take a lot of work. I am loving everything that we're getting in terms of lore here. We get some more lore when it comes to the Needhog Radiscure in this chapter specifically. So I don't think we there's no time better than the present. Let's dive right into it. All right, this is going to be Needhog One Piece chapter 1175. All right, if you can, leave a little like, all right, leave a little comment for your boy. All right, let's jump into this hoe. All right, we start this off very cool. Sanji, he is using Diambe Jambe to cut through, right? He is very precisely slicing through the vines, and he finds this insanely finesse way, right, to get around the vines. It seems like fire is just the vines natural weakness, kind of like a green bull, right, in fire. So I think that that's pretty cool. I think that that's pretty entertaining. I'm also very on board with the idea of Sanji just being a natural rival to Sommers. Sommers is very just ruthless, very apathetic, and I feel like that definitely bounces off perfectly with Sanji's very hard on his sleeve kind of character. Now we were going to be getting into Sommers very soon, but this is a very good showing from Sanji. I do not want to skip my thoughts on this note though, because Oda has a very interesting note that I want to get into, right? He says that he went to his local food store or whatever. The translations that I read are a little different than everybody else's, right? But essentially, when Oda got his food, right, he got a pair of tools, he got some utensils, and it was a wooden fork, right? And he says that surprisingly, this wooden fork was very easy to wield, even though it was a different kind of tool. And I'm gonna sound a little crazy here, but I genuinely think that this may be a foreshadowing for Sanji, right? Think about it, right? Now, going back to the first pages of this chapter, Sanji is overcoming an endgame-like feat in the Holy Knights, all right? We don't know what other grass are kind of earthy, we don't know what kind of other grass or earth type people can be within the Holy Knights, right? Who could possibly maybe even be with the Gorosei. Like, we don't know if we don't know if one of the Gorosei's powers, all right, there we go. Like, who's to say that Garling doesn't have an earth grass based power, right? Green Bull has an earth based power. If Sanji locks in, that's an Admiral level feat. I'm saying this to say that him being at the first page of this, doing what he's doing, that paired with Oda saying that, hey, I got a new utensil and it was a little different, but I kind of already knew how to use it. I think that that's very subtle foreshadowing for Sanji, and I hope I don't sound crazy here, but knowing what Sanji is capable of per the first page of this chapter, I think it will be hard to deny that there is some kind of upgrade on the way for Sanji, whether that be Haki, whether that be an upgrade to this Dianbe, like kind of like there's an upgrade to Ifrit Janbe, right? Because to be honest, Gabon said it perfectly, as the wings of the Pirate King, you have to be at your A game, and if they're not going to be at their A game for whatever rhyme or reason, due to plot or due to whatever, they're gonna have to keep up. They're going to have to keep up some way, somehow, and I don't see any better way than giving Sanji literally Conqueror's Haki. Like, what else could a different tool mean, right? Oh man, I don't know, because if you really think about it, all right, I'm just gonna keep it for 2 more seconds. Listen, if you think about it, it's a different utensil that he was used to, but he had to utilize in a different kind of way, right? He had to figure out, okay, it's just wood. So if Sanji just thinks about it, it's armament but different. That could be the exact key that he needs to unlock Conquerors. Okay, that was it, that was everything. All right, let's get back into this chapter. The dragon form that we get from Loki, he's fucking insanely huge. He is towering over the sleep tids, right, the nightmare demons, and he is literally like chomping on a bird. Very cool shit, very cool shit. Also, right, I know it's a sleep tid, so it might be sleep tids, right? But why isn't it sleep tides? It's not sleep tides. Maybe like sleep toads. No, all right, whatever. Yeah, but this nigga Sommers is crazy. Nigga Sommers is out of his mind, bro. The first thing that he says when the kids are alive, he's like, "Oh great, oh my plan's going all to fruition. Oh, this is exactly what I wanted." And it's like, this nigga is such a fucking rat, bro. Sommers is king rat, brother. How are you gonna sit here and say, "I'm so happy that you guys are gonna die"? Because if you kids die, we can just grab more kids, man. Better for me, better for us. But even when that wasn't the initial plan, he was like, I'm just gonna blame this shit on Emu. This is all Emu's fault, bro. Like, honestly, bro, I don't get it. Come on, bro. Like, this don't got nothing to do with me. It is so funny. Sommers is actually like one of the more entertaining looking bad guys that we've gotten in a while, right? Because the Gorosei on Egghead Island were just like scary. The niggas were just like, it was just terrible, bro. Yo, when Ethan, bro, when Gandhi, when he ran through the entirety of Egghead in like 4-6 gallops, I was like, nah, Chopper, Frankie, brother, yo, y'all got Usopp, Nami, y'all, we gotta lock in, yo. No, so Egghead was like a little, and then Wano, yo, Luffy kept getting packed. I'm sorry, bro. At any point in time, Luffy probably would have just came back and be like, I'll come back with my crew and I'll face you again, yo, because Luffy was getting packed up during Wano. Wasn't shit funny about Wano, except for the samurais getting clapped. That was pretty funny. Because why the fuck did... I'm sorry, bro, but why the fuck did why did the fucking Sabbats think that they had a chance against a nigga with Conqueror's advanced coding, future sight, and a mythical? We're not gonna keep talking about Wano. Oh my god. But this was very entertaining, to say the least. Sommers is very fun. We've gotten the most screen time, quote unquote, page time with him, aside from his Shanrock. We got a good amount of screen time with Gunko, but she's being Dami reversing, so it is what it is. And honestly, again, I am very, very impressed with the size of everything, with the scope and the scale of everything, and honestly, the risk, because the kid standing in front of these thorns that's getting thrown, insane stakes by Oda. Insane stakes. And I really enjoy the idea of Sommers taking so much pleasure in whatever plan he chooses to work, just involving him. Like, he's not gonna let Imu do the heavy lifting, forget what's bro's name, forget killing him, just, hey, any Marine that's left on this there's no Marines here. Like, forget killing him, right? Gunko's doing her own thing. Let me be the one to try to take out these children for now the third time. Insane shit, by the way. Crazy. Because you just said you wanted to keep him alive, but now he's okay with killing him again. It's like, he's fucking insane. He's nuts. He's a rat. Oh my gosh. Bro, he sends these thorns towards the child giants, right? Because they're protecting the parents. Again, everyone's just laid out here. Loki dropped off everybody. Like, again, Loki, huge wings, massive fucking frame, insane frame. He tells everybody to get off. They promptly get off, right? After this, after Sommers sends the thorns, right? Zoro, he cuts up the thorns. No name attack, but I mean, it's no less than a good 24 thorns, right? Like 24 thorns. Zoro cuts him up, and then Luffy, he lines up a shot with his fingers. He gets Sommers in his sights, and then he hits him with a booming Dawn Thor rifle. He puts his hand and he grabs the lightning. I almost jumped out. I damn near did a cartwheel. All right, yo, Luffy's crazy. This attack, it splits Sommers' head in two pieces. We're gonna talk about his regeneration, bro. But we're gonna have to talk about something really quick, right? The aftermath of Elbaf, like how do I put this? The old man version of Luffy, the version of Elbaf that he has created, it is probably going to be one of the most strongest and one of the most courageous eras of giants that we are ever going to see, probably ever, right? These children, right, who didn't want to face war, right? They didn't want to face fighting. They are ready to face death to protect their parents who just risked everything for them. Like, who had just risked everything for them. That shit is beautiful, bro. It is so beautiful. And I'm not gonna lie, man, it is something just really cool about the idea of these, like, children giants one day growing up to be somebody stronger than a Haruden, right? Somebody stronger than a Goldberg, stronger than a Ripley, right? Because they really do lay everything on the line. And I think that this, for lack of a better word, right? This conqueror's presence, right? That Loki, Imu, and Luffy have brought to the battlefield, have brought to the soil of Elbaf, I think it is going to drastically change this generation, all right? I'm kind of confused about the naming process. Like, obviously, Dawn, that's in relation to, that the Harley text, the people of the half moon and people of the full moon, right? The celestial dragons, obviously Marie Joie, half moon, D, Dawn. You're catching up. You're doing a great job. My only thing is Thor. I wonder where he's getting Thor from, because I do not remember if one of Enel's attacks had Thor in it. I'm gonna have to look back on that. But if he did, right, I think that's a great callback to Enel. I think the lightning period is a callback to Enel. I definitely think you can look at this and say this is a small callback to Wano, right? This is cool shit from Luffy. Again, split Sommers in half. Sommers is regenerating as Luffy. I kind of forget exactly where he's going. We don't really end off the chapter with with a next time for Luffy, but it's more of a next time for somebody else. We're going to get there. But I loved this showing from Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. Pirate King and his wings doing fly shit as always. And I'm kind of confused about Summer's regeneration powers exactly, because as he's forming, his mouth is still not really formed. So I don't know if it's kind of like a guttural kind of, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's that, or if it's just a kind of Toon Force kind of thing. Listen, because I've been throwing out the idea of Toon Force being a very important part, all right, of this entire story, even going back into Emu having Toon Force, right? So I think whatever we get from that explanation, it should be cool, but I would love an explanation, because it is a little weird. We're also not gonna lie, we're also not gonna ignore Luffy getting recognized as the Sun God, not only from Ripley, but originally, right? He originally gets recognized from, I believe it's Haruden. I believe it's Haruden that he sees hey, that form, or maybe it might be Ja Rule. Somebody mentions his form that he took at Wano, the wanted poster, etc., if you know, you know. And Ripley, as she's kind of fading into unconsciousness. I'm not sure if Ripley's dying, by the way. That'll be unfortunate, but hopefully she's not dying. She's kind of drifting off into unconsciousness, saying, "Oh my gosh, you really do look like the sun god Nika," right? And as Summers begins to regenerate, he's kind of mocking, "Puh, Nika, that's just a wise tale we tell kids to scare them," right? Loki, massive, by the way. He's the entirety of this whole village. All of the West Village is basically Loki, right? And he just throws him. Just lightning stomp, toss. Summers is just listen, I don't know if this is soften him up for a Sanji W, but personally I think we could all agree a natural Sanji W would have been perfectly fine with me. We also have to talk about the explanation for Loki's devil fruit, right? Chopper and Gabon, they're sitting on a nearby branch and they're breaking shit down, right? Gabon says that in his flashback with Shanks, that the holder of this fruit, right, this legendary fruit of Elbaf, right, it is called the mythical dragon. It's called the mythical dragon model Nidhogg, right? In Nidhogg, again, the dragon at the bottom of the Yggdrasil, it is said, right, to be protected, right, by not only a hammer wielded by a god of war, so Kratos reference. I think that's pretty cool. But it was also said to be defended by Rataskur, right? Rataskur was defending the hammer more or less, and the hammer was defending the fruit, right? And Loki has this entire combination. So Rataskur is causing the snow, Loki is blotting out the sky, and he is the dragon, and the hammer is a completely different it is a completely different story. Now, a lot of people are saying that this god might be named Kratos or something like that. I don't really know about that. All right, I think realistically this might be you know what I'll go with. I'll go with this, and this might sound crazy. I believe this might be Magni, right? This either might be Magni or Modi and not Thor, because even the mentioning of Thor, it's just one of those things how exactly would Luffy know about that, right? But maybe it's just one of those pop culture things. Maybe it actually is Thor, right? But I think that this is kind of an amalgamation of all the stories, because realistically this could be Tyr, right? But there's a possibility, some people have guessed it's it is a Greek god, it might be a Roman god, right? Maybe even African god. We really don't know. There is an African god god that wields a hammer, right? So I mean, hey, you don't know where the story can go with Oda. I'm impressed. I am very much looking forward to any lore that we can get explaining this. But I mean, everything that we get with the dragon is just, it's fucking phenomenal, right? Basically, Ja Rule, right? He explains that the size of the creature, it correlates with the size of the dragon, right? So if a giant eats this, massive colossal dragon fruit, they're going to be, a really, really big dragon. But if an ancient dragon was to eat this, right, they turn insanely huge, right? Which now goes into Rox's plan originally of him needing this fruit and needing Harold to eat this fruit. If Harold was to eat this fruit, ancient giant with Conqueror's Haki, damage, all right, with rocks on one hand, with the Gomu, all right, what we can imagine is the Gomu, right, or perhaps the dark fruit. We don't really know what Rox's exact plans were, but he needed this specific fruit, and it makes so much more sense now, doesn't it? It makes so much more sense. The size of Loki, it is intimidating, not only for the fight, like not only for the sleep demons, right, but for some of Elbaf, right? Elbaf, they're all reacting to it. The giants are reacting to it. I really like the idea of Nami and Loki and Luffy's crew reacting to it. Love that. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie though, it did say that in the kind of mural that we get, kind of a small ode, to that massive Harley text that we got, that Luffy and the God of War locked horns. Now, right, let's kind of extrapolate that for a second. Now, right, let's kind of examine that for a second. The meaning of locking horns, right, it is known to be kind of violent, but right, in in just normal colloquial English, right, it's said to have meanings of rivalry, business, and rivalry or business and personal relations. So realistically, this could just be a territory thing, right? This could be a namesake thing, right? I'm the god of the sun, you're the god of war, and we have to share this territory. We have to share these warriors to take on the world government, right? I could see that being an easy political conflict, right? But it is also said that with like ram and with an ox herd, right, a locking of the horns in animal gatherings, it is used as a meaning of dominance, right, or mating rights. So like possibly, and this is going to sound a little crazy, but what if the god of war, whoever this was, and Nika at the time, was beefing over maybe Emu? Is that crazy? I mean, locking horns in herds, like if you look at ram herds, it is quite literally for mating rights and dominance. Now, again, this quite literally could be a political thing. It could just be them having affair ones. We don't know, but what we do know is that it has an important part to this story with Emu on Elbaf. So we have to put all the pieces together, and it really can mean anything. It genuinely can mean anything. I love the touch that Radiscure is the ice squirrel that explains the snow. I don't know what other kind of powers can come in store. What if Radiscure eats a rumble perk? Oh my god, Radiscure eating a rumble perk would be crazy. Okay, we're gonna put a pin in that. Fuck, that would be nuts. Okay, and he's a giant squirrel at that. So he would even get bigger than a giant. He would probably be like at least up to like Orange Jr.'s chest. No, that's way too big. Maybe Haruden. Maybe he'd be like a little bit taller than Haruden. If Radiscure eat a rumble perk, that's tough. Okay, let's lock back in. All right, the next panel we see, all right, is Loki essentially charging up this massive attack, right? As he's charging up this attack, right, Summers is kind of giving this whole spiel about like, like how foolish all of you are. No, is it Summers? Go exactly to what I'm thinking about. As All right, the next panel we see, all right, Loki charge up this massive attack, all right? It's this insane double spread. And it's, you know, funny enough, it's actually a picture that I put as my cover, you know, for my last One Piece video. It is a 1-for-1 of exactly what I put in my cover. It's a large dragon dwarfing a lot of smaller, well, it's dwarfing a single small dragon. But this is a perfect comparison of what a worm looks like in D&D, or what an ancient dragon worm, or maybe it's just an ancient worm. I think whatever the oldest form of dragon is. I put the picture up, guys. All right, come on, try to keep up. All right. By the way, this was literally insane. It literally gave me like such like Digimon vibes. Like this one panel, like quite literally just feels like Metal Greymon just charging up an attack. It is so fucking badass. Or maybe even like Godzilla. Oh, it's so fucking cool. So cool. The name of the attack is Thrudenheim, right? Now, the original meaning for Thrudenheim, right, means strength, right? Or like means strength, or home of Thor, right? The poem in the like the poem that we can find in the Grimsmal, right? It says the following. It says the following: "Holy is the land which I see lying, to Aesir in the far near, but in Thrudheim Thor shall dwell until the powers perish." Basically, meaning that this environment, right, will be Thor's home until, you know, whatever ancient powers vanquish, right? Now, I think there's probably a deeper cut going with like the world government and Thor, right? And, you know, lightning and Elbaf and all this other really fun stuff. But the simple meaning of that, right? The home of Thor. That is now the second allusion to Thor we have gotten from a kind of canonical place, right? It's possible that he may be the god of war. And I'm not gonna lie, if Oda decided to make that move, crazy shit from him. Nothing less than impressed. Laura, you know, we see that this attack hits the you know, the sleep tide toads, the sleep demons, the MMAs, whatever you want to call them. They all scatter. All right, they're fucking incinerated. This attack, it's bigger than a Bajran gun. It's easily bigger than Boro Breath. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this attack may be like maybe the entirety of maybe like Sky Island, maybe. This is a massive attack. It literally has lightning strikes that go into the clouds because of the sides. Its simple volume is like the height of it is so it has to reach into the clouds. Insane fucking height. And the size of what we see, oh, it's crazy. Oh, it's crazy. It's nuts. And Oda definitely put his foot into this chapter, man. We see that Gonko, you know, is staring on, kind of just brooding. And, you know, she says, right, in a super cold panel, "So, it's been here the whole time. It was right here. Needhog. It's been in Elbaf all along." All right, that's kind of a paraphrase of what she says. But this goes back into Rox's plan, right? He's been looking for this devil fruit for so long, all right? And they've been just sitting on their hands to deliver it to him, or not even to deliver it, right? To sit there. Harold was sitting on his hands to even work with Rox. So, oh, it's so fucking upsetting. So upsetting, but big shout out to Rox because, bro, he had this shit down to a T. Like, even his size, it's crazy. Luffy is in his giant form, and he is dwarfed by Loki. It is crazy shit. I love all the silhouettes and all the back and forths that we get between Emo and Gunko. Honestly, Emo ain't on the field for real. Emo ain't in the field for real. So I mean, hey, you know, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, this shit's crazy. This shit is insane. All right. We get a color spread and I think a cover story. It just says cover. So we might get a cover spread or like a like we might get a cover spread or maybe like we might get a shonen cover or we might get both. We're most likely going to get both. So I think we're going to get a shonen cover and we're also going to get a color spread fire shit, bro. Super fire shit. There is no break next week, so I'm heavily invested in what the fuck else we can get. Like, so I'm heavily invested in anything else that we're going to get from Elbaf. Elbaf has been an amazing arc, easily better than Egghead for me, a little bit better than Wano, but if it gets too fleshed out, it's gonna reach Wano territory. We don't know where that's gonna go yet, but this is great. You know, the kids showed valor, they showed heart. Again, the next era of this Elbaf Island is going to be crazy tapped, right? And the showings that we get from, you know, the Wings and the Pirate King, it's fitting, right? Now, just going back into my statement at the beginning with the wooden fork, if Sanji can utilize this tool properly, right, they'd be broken, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. All right, that's pretty much everything I have, though. All right, for One Piece 1175, right? It's been your boy Cappy. I hope all of you have a great one, however you catch this, whenever you catch this. All right, I have a lot of other things on the way, so as I always say, all right, you all stay tuned, stay safe, stay beautiful. Peace.